Hello, it is 7:45. I just weighed myself and it's 274.5. Like, I don't understand how I get these like weird weight fluctuations like this. I lose, almost 2 pounds, then I gain 1.1 pounds, and it's like, what the fuck? Could be a scale issue, I don't know. My scale seems to work fine, so not really sure. But also, I woke up to this like gonging sound, like a bell. And I just heard a similar bell from the Facebook thing. So maybe my phone's Facebook belled in the middle of the night. Because I usually have that turned off or logged out of Facebook. Because I don't care about Facebook at all. So, I don't know. Maybe at first I was like, well, that's really weird. I don't know why I felt this ringing in my like head. I'll still I don't know. I don't want to put a specific thing on it. It could very well have just been the Facebook Messenger thing. But anyway, the first part of the backstory, the my life past stuff happened. So cool. That's there. I gotta do the other parts. They're already like ready aside from no, they're all compiled, so I just have to make a cover and then watch it again just to make sure I don't dox myself. But yeah. A little tired. My back's a little sore, but I think that's due to the massage. Definitely was working out a lot of like knots and back pressure and back tightness, so yeah. Plus there was like they did the little cup thing and whatever. So I don't know. I want to do the painting that's going to show up at 10. So I want to do that. That'd be cool. But I think I'm going to go to the gym first. Doing gym work today is going to be hard because today's like back and legs. I don't know if I want to do back specifically. I don't know. I'll probably do everything else but back, just because of how sore my back is right now. Okay, I'm gonna go do stuff. Bye! Hello! It is 1:52. And I made my food. I haven't done laundry yet, but I'm like next in line for the laundry. I went to the gym, did 52 minutes of walking, and then did biceps and triceps today. I didn't squat or do the back exercises because my back is still like really sore from the massage, and so I think I just need to give them a little bit of a rest. Same with my legs. Less so for my legs, but I still think just giving them a bit of a rest. And I also kind of hate squats. So like, there's a little bit of both going on there. I think I definitely finagled my way into agreeing to forgo legs. But anyway, so did that. I also did a bunch of recordings. I say a bunch. I did, like, I think 2. Yeah, let me look. Once I, like, record something, it just goes out of my brain. It's like, okay, that's done. On to the next thing. It's not under that. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so I actually did do 4 videos. I did some edits for the Love Life video. And then I did a video on, like, escapism, like, escaping reality, that kind of, like, mentality, like, yeah. So I talked about that and, like, how that specifically was playing out in my life. And then I talked about depression/suicide stuff, where it's like, yeah, like, that's rough. And, you know, just how it kind of played out in my life. And in both videos, I try to kind of, towards the end, mention kind of, like, either, like, the ways to kind of get yourself out of that kind of situation, or just, like, maybe just thinking about why you are in that situation. But anyway, so yeah, so I did that. And what is this video? 153. Oh, right. Okay. There was wait, what? Okay. There was a video, I was trying to record, so I clicked record, and then immediately my computer crashed, and somehow there's a ton of data on that video, which is weird. So I'm actually going to look at that after. I don't know why there's so much stuff there. But anyway, so my buddy that I'm going to go hang out with tomorrow, he reached out to me today and was, like, super excited to, like, hang out and chat. And so we might end up chatting on a little bit today, and then chat some more tomorrow. But looking forward to that. Hadn't talked to him in, like, 10 years. So it's like, yeah, it's about time we caught up. So maybe more. Maybe like 11 years at this point. It could have been, well, no, I think it's 10 years. But anyway. Took a shower. Felt great. I love showers. So it's like, I think I just love being in water. And showers just happen to be the only thing that I really readily access. Maybe I'll have to change that. But other than that, not really too much has happened. I kind of, had some shower thoughts about, like, trying to, like, communicate with my intuition a little bit, being like, okay, we need a system so that I can understand you better. Because I the important things are, like, dead giveaways. But all of the, like, minute kind of, like, it's not really a very strong feeling, those are hard to, like, parse. And I think I just need to practice. But also maybe trying to get my intuition to, like, yeah, like, my intuition's like, yeah, you do need to practice listening to me. But I don't know, also having the intuition, like, be a little more obvious. I got, like, a disgusted, like, feeling a little bit there. Not too much. It was just kind of like a haha. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like communicating to something slash someone slash whatever you want to call the intuition, a part of yourself that isn't very talkative, but when things are going on, that maybe it's more talkative than I initially gave it credit for. But like, at least when I'm listening, it's very much like it's almost like yes or no's that you have to kind of interpret. So I don't know. Maybe there will be more nuance as I figure out how to understand my intuition better. But yeah. Anything else I need to talk about? We discovered ants. It's that time of year where they just show up and start sniffing around the kitchen. And so I'm just like, yep, we need to definitely be on top of that. And, you know, I always wipe down my like space, clean everything that I use. And so I just kind of said, yeah, no one's very good at like keeping the counters clean. I'm the only one who's like cleaning up. So, you know, my roommate was just kind of like, didn't say anything one way or another, but yeah. So, that is one thing I just want to point out. When you have a scenario like that where there's like a mismatch in like the way you do things, you can like, you have a couple like ways to kind of deal with it. And the way that I've kind of come to realize works best, at least for me at the moment, is if it's something that's directly like impeding my ability to do something, I will like say something about it. I'll be like, hey, you can't do this. It's literally like, this is my only thing I'm doing. So you can't just do this. Set my boundaries. After that, so like an example, I set boundaries around one of the sinks. We have two sinks. One holds dishes, the other is just a sink. And I said, look, just so you guys know, I use this sink like 3 or 4 times a day. Do not put shit in this sink, because if you do, then I have to pull it out and put it to the side. And it just, you know, especially if you pile dishes in there or big things, like doing that fucks everything. And for the most part, they've listened about like my request on this. But occasionally it's just like one of the roommates will just don't care. Like, doesn't care. Does his own thing. Like, very self-centered. And then, you know, I'm just going to leave it at that. But, yeah. So it's kind of around, it's like making boundaries known that at least, first of all, it has to be fair. Like, if I said everyone needs to make sure the whole kitchen's clean at all times, that's not really a fair boundary. Because I know that they just don't do it. And I can try and force them to do it, but it's like, no one's gonna fucking actually follow through. They're all adults. They all, like, make their own decisions, right? So, but instead what I can do is like, hey, this is my air fryer. If you're gonna use my air fryer, you can't use meat in the air fryer, because I don't want to deal with like meat residue or whatever. If you want to use meat, in the air fryer, you can use your air fryer. So it's like that. Or like, hey, if you cook something that's really messy in my air fryer, make sure to clean it. Or at least like wipe up and like dump out like any excess stuff so I don't have to deal with it. Things like that. I have like a little rack that I dry my bowl and the cutting board and the knife and stuff that I use. And I'm like, guys, this is the stuff that I use on a consistent basis. Don't worry about putting it away. Like, it's just always in a perpetual state of drying because I use it so often. It's also like out of the way, so like, you know, I make sure to keep it clean and keep it like contained, and everyone's like totally fine with it. And then it kind of, I also make sure again to like wipe up, like, okay, I'm going to use this section of the counter. It's the same section I use most of the time. I'll wipe it up, make sure that it's clean. But I don't clean the whole kitchen because it's not my job. Like, I could, but I'm kind of, when you kind of decide to be the bigger person, which is what my mom would always say, well, you got to just be the bigger person and do the thing, even if, like, it's like, no, that's being a doormat. You can be respectful, you can set boundaries, and you can clean up after yourself. If other people don't do that, it's not your job to clean up after them. You know, if there's like, on the counter, if there's, 10 pans from someone cooking something or doing meal prep or whatever, it's not my job to clean that. It's, literally, quite literally, I did not make the mess. And I could be nice and like clean up something like that, but it happens every week. So I just put it in a little pile and I'm like, it's off to the side, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not going to let that affect me. So that's kind of, when it comes to like roommates or just like people in general that you like live with or interact with, you don't have to be a doormat and just clean up after everyone. But you do need to clean up after yourself. It's setting an example of, hey, I don't leave shit all over the place. All of my stuff is in my room. If I eat something, I clean it up. Occasionally I'll take out the trash. Occasionally I'll take out the recycling, even though most of that is not mine. So that's kind of my exception, is like, okay, if it's like overflowing, like I might do it. But like, we had some one of my roommate's friends come over, and like her and her significant other like ate a lot of stuff that they had brought with them, and so there's a bunch of trash and stuff, and it's like totally overfilled the garbage, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to deal with that. So yeah, and it's kind of the, again, there's discernment there. It's like, if I'm feeling extra helpful, yeah, of course, like, if I got a little extra time, I'll totally do it. But I don't have to police other people. And that's kind of it. And just as a side thing, I think it's also important to not let these kinds of things impact you internally. Because you do have a choice on whether you're going to let something like, if it really bothers you, for me, for an example, I've set the boundary about the second sink. If the roommate puts something in the sink, I just take it out, put it on the side. I've already said what's going to happen. And then I just use the sink. So, I mean, that's like, I don't let that negatively impact my mood. I'm just like, okay, there's something in there. It's in my way. It's now moved. Done. You know? And this is what you kind of have to do when you're living with other people. Because people will just consistently kind of like push your boundaries. And so it's just, you know, being kind but firm, making sure that, like, okay, if it keeps happening and it's the same person, talking to them again and being like, hey, we talked about this. Can you please do a little bit better? Done. Communication done. Great. Whether the person does it, that's a whole other thing. And if they consistently do things that you're not a fan of, well, at a certain point, maybe it is time to, like, find a different space to live in, right? And just to be clear, that's not, like, for me specifically, that's not why I'm, like, having that gut feeling about moving. I just think that, like, our paths are so different at this point that I love them, I respect them, I care about them, but energetically, we're, like, on such, like, a different plane of existence that sometimes it's, like, it's just draining sometimes. Because it's the same things that I see over and over again that they're dealing with. And I'm not saying that it doesn't make it any easier or less, like, rough for the person. But, you know, I can only console people so many times when it comes to, like, well, I'm really depressed. It's like, okay, why are you depressed? Well, it's because I'm not doing the thing that I want to be doing. Okay, well, why don't you do the thing that you want to be doing? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, why don't you think about that? I don't know. I just want to be depressed. And it's like, okay, like, nothing I can do there. And so it's kind of like, energetically, I understand. I was there, and I can just feel it, and I just don't really want to, like, be in a space where that's kind of the prevailing energy that's, like, swirling around. Doesn't mean I don't love the person, doesn't mean I don't want to help the person, but, you know, it just makes it harder to be my highest self when I'm constantly bombarded by this type of energy. And you know, it's not just, like, obviously, like, each roommate has their own kind of set of struggles that they're working through. And I've tried helping each one of them with their own struggle. And I just don't think they're, like, ready to face those things. And that's okay. That's part of their journey. But it also kind of signifies to me that, like, if I want to continue growing as a person, I can't live with a group of people who aren't interested in that and who, quite frankly, don't even understand what I'm doing. They don't understand, like, when I talk about, like, oh yeah, I'm, like, listening to my intuition do blah, da, 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 and they're like, this is stupid. Like, they don't outwardly say that, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, crazy Tom's doing his weird intuition thing again. And it's like, here we go. He's going to, like, an example, the New York thing. One of my roommates is like, okay, so you're going to New York. And I'm like, yeah. Why? And I'm like, because I felt like I should. Okay, well, like, you've never done that. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, and then we just went down a whole, like, laundry list of things, like I was, like, some child getting, like, talked down to about, like, being an adult and going and making decisions. And I'm like, you know, and then there's the other roommate who's like, hey, I really care about, like, you, and I just want to make sure that you're safe. And I'm like, hey, look, I totally agree. I understand that it doesn't make sense to you guys, but, like, you know, I'm gonna go do this thing. And yeah, it's like the energy, even for the roommates that, like, are more in my corner, or are more kind of like, yeah, you go, you get it, you know. It's kind of just like there's still just a disconnect. And they do their best from where they're at. And I appreciate each one of them for doing the thing. But yeah, it gets tiring after a while to, like, have to explain, okay, so here's kind of my thought process. Yes, I have, in fact, like, done the research on where I'm doing da-da-da-da-da whatever. And it's like, yeah. So, I don't know. It's just like, it's more confirmation for me, is what it really boils down to. Of, like, I've outgrown the space that I'm in currently. And that's okay. Doesn't mean that they're, like, bad people. They're great people. Doesn't mean that I haven't, like, benefited from, like, living with them. I have. I've learned so much. And it doesn't mean that I don't love them. I love all of them. And I want to see them succeed. Which is why, you know, I was like, hey, we're not, like, I most likely am not going to be here signing the lease. And I kind of reiterated it again. And one of the roommates is like, yeah, you probably won't be. I get the feeling you're not going to. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're actually more intuitive than I initially thought. I don't know, something's weird about one of my roommates. I just have this, like, sus feeling that there's something happening. I don't know what it is. It's just a gut reaction. I'm like, Especially with the way he kind of talks down to me a lot of times. It's like, I'll just say this, I almost get the feeling that because the two of us were at a similar weight and a similar kind of, like, he reminds me so much of my past self. So there definitely was this, like, it's almost like I don't know if jealousy is the right word, but it's like maybe he feels insecure because he thinks that maybe I take up his spot in the group, which is obviously not true. We're all different people. I'm not him. He's not me, right? But I don't know. There's been a lot of times when I've had little glimpses at like this like vitriol that I just don't know where it comes from. A lot of like, I'll say something and then he'll immediately like jump on the like opposite side and try to like joust me verbally with like stuff. So, and I've let a lot of that slide because I'm like, I don't actually care. Like, it's such a small thing. I just kept it in the back of my head as like, okay, this is a little weird, but whatever. But yeah, it also, there was like this one time when the one roommate got removed, where before he got removed, it was like this roommate said, "What, am I going to be next?" And I was like, that's absurd to like even say that. And I was like, no, like, why would you even think that? And I think there's that insecurity that popped up there when we were all in a like vulnerable time. And you know, I hadn't really thought too much of it, but you know, it lingers in the back of my head along with all the other data points where it's like, okay, something's up. Maybe he's not like, maybe there's some sort of thing that he's not happy about when it comes to me and him. Not that I don't, like, I think he actually cares about me. Although, to be fair, he kind of is cold in general. Because I think he's kind of in the part where I was in the past, where it was like shut off emotions, like just kind of being incredibly like focused on the self, not really focused on what other people think or care about. This was like something that I did extensively when I was like early 20s. But even then, like, I still cared about other people outwardly, so I guess there's a difference there, but like, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe there are more differences, but I just saw a lot of qualities that I used to have in him, so I don't know. Anyway, I don't really know where that's going. I'm gonna eat my food, and I guess I'll chat with you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hello, everyone. It is 8:24. I'm gonna try this for a second time. The first time, my computer crashed when I was talking about something. I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to talk about it, so I'm not talking about it. Because my computer had, like, just crashed recently. I don't know. It was like, seemed like it was a message to shut the fuck up. So I'm like, okay, got it. Message received. Anyway, so, alright, so I got my food. And fuck, felt like I was on a good train of thought, but I guess, oh, right. I was uploading part 2 of the past stuff. Totally forgot that I needed to edit the last part because I doxed myself in that at the very end. Yep. That was a mistake. So I tried to close it, and then I ended up accidentally deleting the today video for the vlog. So I'm re-uploading that, and what the fuck? Okay. I might have just discovered that if my computer crashes, I might be able to continue uploading the same video. I don't know. I'm really bad at YouTube. I'm really bad at it. I'm learning, but I know basic stuff. I know basic editing, and I know basic upload stuff. But anyway, so I have to go edit that. I went through and I watched part 2. I get emotional a couple times, and one thing that I noticed while getting emotional, there's just a theme. The theme is me finding kindness from seemingly just a random person that maybe I get to know or whatever. And it's kind of crazy that it's so consistent. I don't get upset, or I say upset. I don't cry and let emotions out at anything else. It's always consistently about love, and about how the times that I do feel love, it's very special to me. And it makes me cry because most of the time I do not feel that. So yeah, I think kind of one of the lessons that I've kind of learned is you never know who you're going to touch when it comes to being kind to someone. You be kind, and maybe that kindness is makes a huge impact on their life. And it's something really small. You just don't know. So if you're always kind, and you're always kind of just being nice to other people and understanding other people's struggles, it can make an impact. It sure as hell did in my life. I didn't know some of these people for very long, but I still think about them today. And it's they probably don't even remember me. And that's okay. But yeah. So anyway, getting past that, I went for a walk again. It was short. It was 15-20 minutes, but it was still nice to just walk out and see the birds. And yeah, didn't have headphones in, just enjoyed walking around. And then aside from that, I've just been editing. Feel like there was something that happened. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm Oh yeah, I did in fact post part 1. I mean, you'll be able to see it. Oh, I always forget to silence my phone. Usually it's not a problem because I don't get texts very often, but when I do, it's just like it's always like a fucking spam caller or something. Like I get called like 3 or 4 times a day from like random number that totally is not a scam. If you like, if you ever get numbers you don't you don't understand who they are, and they're like 800 numbers, or they're like weird area code numbers, even the ones that are your area code, it's like, it may not be. It may just be something phishing. Especially if it's like you answer the call, and the call is just like, click, and it's like, okay, well, they were just trying to see if you were actually a real person, a real number. They're probably just sending bots to just fucking cycle through things or whatever to see if they're numbers that still exist. So just don't answer them. And if anyone is interested in talking to you, let it go to voicemail, and they'll respond with a voicemail or a text. So, yeah. Just a little scammer advice as someone who deals with this on a regular basis. Because at this point they know that it's a real number, so they just continuously pester me. But anyway. I don't know where I was at there. Oh, I found some, I didn't even know that they made bamboo toilet paper. I got some because I saw it and I'm like, what? I've never seen this before. I'm not surprised that someone's figured out how to use bamboo to like make toilet paper. But I'm like, okay, like it's not bad. It's not great, but like theoretically it's better than, like, if all the claims are true about what they're claiming on their packaging, it's way better than, you know, cutting a tree down effectively. So, and it saves a lot of water and time, and yeah, it's the whole thing. So, interesting, to say the least. But, yeah, I guess that's it. I don't really need each day to be 10,000 years long. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to eat everything, and I'm going to get this stuff uploaded. I uploaded part 1. I'm going to be uploading part 2. Like, you know, doing my thing. So, alright. Talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.